Hello, family and friends, and welcome to another edition of Thought Thursday, reporting to you live from Manissa, the Nissan. And today we're going to be talking about failure is not an option. And this is actually building upon a previous video where I talked about tough love. So failure, my definition of that is giving up, right? It is no longer trying. That is the only way that you could ever fail at something, all right? And we all have challenges. Life is not easy. But if it matters enough to you, if there's a will, there's a way you can make it happen. So if you are currently faced with a challenge and you feel like giving up, likely all you need to do is break down the goal and also gut check, right? Reassess whether or not what it is that you're doing and that outcome, the reason that you started is still the same reason that you would want to continue and actually see this project through completion. All right. I think something else to take into consideration is your credibility, right? Your name. And if you have a history of starting and never finishing, that's not a good thing, right? You need to eventually strengthen that muscle, that follow through muscle, to see things through to completion. Now, there will be times, and this is a whole separate video on, where you do need to make a decision that maybe your original vision is not panning out, that you have done all you're willing to do, and maybe you're burnt out on it. Maybe that passion, that fire for whatever it is that you wanted to pursue is no longer there. It's extinguished. But that's not really what we're talking about in this video, and those are for more seasoned people who can make kind of those decisions. What I find is more the elementary individual who is not used to goal setting, not used to following through and completing anything whatsoever, and that's who I really want to speak to in this video, and kind of continuing on that tough love of, we tend to make excuses, and really the only thing that you need to look at is whether or not somebody else has achieved what it is that you're looking to achieve. And if they have, then the answer is there is no excuse, right? Failure is not an option. If there are other people succeeding at what it is that you want to succeed at, you have to look at the only variable that is different in that situation, and it is you. Okay, so what are you not doing is ultimately what you need to figure out. And do you not want it enough, right? So really assessing and getting back to your why and your reason for doing it in the first place. And I think again, going back to your name and your credibility, if you have signed up, if you committed yourself to something, whether that's to someone else, like a leadership position, or to yourself of, I really want to do this, then you owe it to yourself and to that person, even just to respect your name and your legacy, to complete that, right? It will be challenging, and know that my motto in life, our challenges are opportunities in disguise. I am so grateful every time I'm presented with a challenge. It sucks at the time, right? I'm like, ugh. But at the same time, actually, no, I'm never like, I'm excited. It's a challenge, no doubt, but I know that it's an opportunity for me to grow. And if I am presented with this challenge from a spiritual standpoint, I understand that he's preparing me for something greater. So I'm excited about what's at the end of that challenge, end of that tunnel, that pot of gold that's going to come after, because I know that by continuously growing and developing, that greater things are in store, right? The best is yet to come. And you should have that same mentality, but you are blocking your blessings, sweetheart, gentlemen, if you never complete anything. All right, you owe it to yourself to have that victory on your resume, that and not just a physical resume, but your resume of life. Like, what have you contributed to this world? Right, you are worth it. That vision was implanted in you for a reason. Whole nother video on the fact that people may think you're freaking crazy, and that's fine. They don't have the vision. It wasn't given to them. They're not going to see what you see, and that's fine. All right, I'm not going to go any further into that because that'd be a whole nother video. But that's my message for today. Failure is not an option. You need to make that decision, put the line in the sand right now, that this is a fresh start, a new day. You're going to tackle whatever it is that you are trying to overcome. You're going to break down that mountain, make it more digestible, and see it through completion. I believe in you. You got this. Go for gold. I'm proud of you. Mwah!